Welcome back to Real Estate with Mariah and Spenc.
Heck yeah.
I've never gotten to say that before because it's always the host we're used to saying.
Yeah.
So let's just share first off a little bit about, obviously we're in a new space here. We're not where the show is usually at, the radio station. So let's just obviously address that before we get into whatever else we're talking about.
Yeah, we decided to make a change, a good change for the better for you guys as our listeners, our audience. So we thought it was really important that we can have more of a broad view and topic, as well as still focusing on local perspective, because obviously we live here in Salem. So that's really important and meaningful to us to be on point with that. But we just are able to bring things at home. We have less time limits, less restrictions, bringing you guys even more knowledge and education to the real estate industry, which is ultimately, I think, your and I's goal.
Absolutely. I'm excited to see, I don't know, it's nice knowing we don't have an 8-minute segment here and then a time limit here. We kind of just can do whatever we want and
seriously.
Yeah.
And the freedom to be able to do that is pretty unbelievable.
Yes.
It's amazing, actually.
And we're going to be keeping the shows though, we want to keep the structure the same as our radio show has been. So it's not going to be like an edited type thing. No. We just want it to be a simple conversation, pretty much off the top of our heads. Just how the radio show has been, unedited, kind of like a live stream, I guess, except it's not live. Yeah. And we're thinking we'll just be picking a topic for each show and we'll have a conversation about that topic, however long it takes us. We'll dig deep into that and just discuss it, the real estate topic that it is that week. And then we will end the show answering viewers' questions. So this week, we're going to be chatting about the day in the life of a real estate agent, because that is something we get asked about all the time. Mm-hmm. And there's just so many misconceptions about that from buyers, sellers, everyone. And so we'll talk about that. And then at the end, we have some really great viewer questions today that I don't think you're going to want to miss about what we're seeing in the market, buying a house at 18, how to do that, and like so many other things. So that's all I have to say.
We get to jump on in. Sure. What I like and love actually about this show, let me just put this into the audience's peace of mind, is how kind of natural this is. We don't edit. We don't crop things. We don't send off our videos to get them professionally organized. And
so if we say something stupid, you're going to hear it.
Well, yeah, but I think that's like why we're here as well, though, just specifically for YouTube. And it's fun to grow because I've always looked at real estate as a relational business, that aspect, and to get to know us while watching these videos is ultimately one of those really good goals that I have.
Totally.
I haven't really talked to you about that, Mariah, but that's what I have is getting to know kind of the audience based off your guys' comments, feedback. We're happy to work with what you guys want to hear too. So your feedback's a lot.
So continue to send us your viewer questions that we will cover at the end of the show. And then also, if you have any suggestions for like real estate topics that you want us to cover and just like have as our main topic that we discuss on the show, send them our way as well. Leave us a comment on this video, or, you can email us. Our website and email is in the description.
Heck yeah.
Yes.
So when do you update each video each week, just so the audience has that in mind?
So every Wednesday is when these go up.
So if you want a new video, check us out, subscribe, get to that new video. Every Wednesday it will be posted and uploaded for you guys to listen to and view. And once again, if you live out of state, a lot of our clients come from California, Idaho, Washington. I've been working with some Colorado clients as well. Yeah. They find us through a lot of these channels that we have, and we are one of the very few here in Salem, and that's one of those bragging points I get to bring to my sellers when we are, battling for a listing, because there are so many other real estate agents out there right now. Right.
It's very, very, very saturated.
Very saturated.
And there's just not, everyone knows this, there's just no inventory. But there's not a lot of it. And so, but that's another topic for another day.
I know.
That's not what we're talking about today.
2 days ago, I'd say, it was on, Thursday? I got sent a video, and I don't know whether to believe this or not.
Wait, someone sent it to you?
Yeah, someone sent me this video. And it was a builder, a developer, a big developer, mega developer, not just your a guy that builds 5 houses.
Yeah.
But he was talking really good talking points about how actually the media has over exaggerated how the housing market actually isn't in a short supply in small demand. And we better hope that it doesn't actually become that way.
Interesting.
And he had a really, really good brain. Like, I'm just saying,
That's
everything he was saying was kind of on point though, because I don't like being tricked.
Yeah.
I hate being tricked.
Yeah.
So if he actually brought up some good points, I need to do more due diligence on him because what he was saying was our real estate market is going to stay strong for quite some time if he's accurate.
I believe that. I believe it. I mean, from what I keep hearing that like experts are predicting, which of course no one knows what's going to happen at all ever, but from what I keep hearing is that based off of like statistics and everything, prices will continue to go up. They're just not going to be going up at this. Like, I don't know that people necessarily understand how insane it is that we've had such an increase in like equity and home prices. It's been like such a jump. Like we're talking, we bought a house. I don't even know how long ago now.
Like 7-8 months.
Yes. And the amount of equity that we've gained in that short time is crazy. And so just the fact that the last few years appreciation has been so insane, if appreciation just slows down, it'll make a big difference even in the market. So I think that's what we're going to see, but we're not talking about that today. So I don't even know where I'm going with this. Honestly,
let's transition and get to the main point though.
Okay.
Because what is it?
Life
it's being a realtor.
of a real estate. What do we even do? What is a day like? And the funny thing is though, is a day in the life, like for me at least, I don't know about you, but for me, my day in the life as a real estate agent has changed extremely, like drastically. It's like I'm in a completely different career right now. At the time of filming this being 25 versus when I got into the business at 18. And I did that purposefully. Well, part of it was very purposeful. Like you start out and you're working way more than you would like a normal job, and you're just grinding and you're cold calling, door knocking, all this stuff. You're laying a foundation for your business. And then the plan or the goal, hopefully, not everyone does this, is to make it so that eventually, after doing that for so long, your business you're able to structure in a way that it's more turnkey, you outsource more. And so you're able to make more but not be working all the time. So it's more like streamlined, turnkey, and also things just get easier because you know what you're doing. But
day one, when I got into the business in a sense, because obviously we go to real estate school, you get the state and federal tests done. But like throughout that whole time period, even before I was licensed, I got to like work off of what you were doing. And it was really, really quite fabulous, honestly. I admired that side of you because the real estate has always been a goal for Mariah to conquer, make money. But I think in the end game, if I could just maybe speak for you, correct me if I'm wrong, you want passive income.
Yes.
You want to have family time. You want to do things at home. You want to travel. That's been some of your really big goals. So that is what I've seen, though, through your real estate career that you have been able to develop more into and transition, especially now being a stay-at-home mom.
Totally.
But you are the working mom. You know what I mean? Like, and it's a really hard concept for a lot of people to grasp.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people don't really understand but also a lot of agents, I know because I talk to so many agents, are not structuring their business this way. And I think it's unfortunate because the way I see it is what's the point of like working all the time to make all this money if you're not even getting to, live your life and do other things and invest in people and have relationships. Cause like at the end of the day, that's what really matters. I mean, making money is really fun, but that's always been my goal, is to like scale back and back more and more over time. And but with you scaling back, it's not like you're getting away from the business. Right. Totally. Things just look different. Yeah. And also how I get my clients looks a lot different. And I think that also speaks to working, like spending less time, because what I used to do was extremely time consuming and now it is not time consuming.
Well, tell the audience for instance, let's be metaphorical. I just got my real estate license. What did you used to do to get business?
So back in the day, I would spend all day. I would be driving from house to house. I would door knock for sell by owners. I would just show up at their door, and then I would spend from there. I would spend a lot of time preparing mail. If you guys saw my desk, it was literally like a stack. Like you saw it, stacks of mail, because I had all these systems and routines of like, first I'm going to send this letter, then this. I had like 10 letters that I would send in order to for sale by owners, expired listings, and I literally my plan was to just like keep following up and not go away until they list with me. However, I stopped doing that when I became a mom, and I switched my business model because it just wasn't working anymore, and I wasn't willing to dedicate that much time to it. But also I'm thinking like, would that even work in this market? Because back then houses were on the market for 6 months and that was normal. But now I wouldn't have time to send 10 letters in the mail, like 2 a week to these FSBOs. Like they would sell first.
That's the thing.
Like,
like
I guess I'd have to focus more on just calling and showing up at their door and being better at converting at the first call. But because that was really like, there's some, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
You're going really fast. I'm just can you talk more into the mic just a little bit?
Hello.
There
yes,
you go.
Sorry.
Yeah. See, there's a flat part. We're learning as we go, guys. Seriously, this is unedited when we're just having that conversation. We don't script this
episode
at all.
Here in this new
I know. Yeah. Seriously.
setup.
If you need to adjust that mic, go for it.
Okay. Is it good now?
Yeah, it's a lot better. I was just getting a lot of background noise.
But yeah, anyway, that's all I have to say about that.
Yeah. So you did mailers. Yeah. And I think you're exactly right though. Like, cause I remember you would like handwrite
so much.
Every
oh my gosh.
letter to every for sale by owner, expired people.
Yes.
And
I loved it.
Then you would like door knock too though.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
that took away time.
It was so time consuming, and it worked then. I mean, what else did I have to do? I was 18 and like didn't like I lived with my parents. Like I didn't have any reason not to do that all day.
There's so many other alternatives though, like in this business that I've just seen.
There's
like
so many
for
ways
instance,
to
like
get
writing
business.
letters. Like you didn't even have like a stamp.
And I did that
address,
on purpose because people don't open mail. If they see like the open rate goes up so much if you handwrite it. I know it takes more time. Mm-hmm. And nowadays, like people would probably be like, well, you should have an assistant do that for you. But when you're just starting out, you can't afford that. But like no one's going to open it if they see it's just like from a company or stamped. If they think it's like a wedding invitation or something that's handwritten, they're going to open it every time. So that was like very purposeful.
Yeah. Okay. But time consuming, right?
Yeah.
And so what did you actually see real return on that?
Yes. Like that's where all my business came from was that and that alone. And then I pivoted and things changed and but that was like the old day in the life was driving in my car literally all day. I'd go from like appointment to appointment, town to town, house to house, like booked up my day with appointments and I loved it. But obviously when I became a mom, that had to change because that's not the kind of thing I can be doing all day.
No, 100%. Like you have to make adjustments to your business, whether you want to or not. And I think that's part of being like a good business person, like a good entrepreneur. That's what they do. They're not so stuck in their ways where they're going to say can't.
Right. But that's the beautiful thing about this business, the real estate industry, is that there are a million ways that you can run your business. There's a million ways you can structure it. So many ways to get business. And like I said, I feel right now, like obviously the working with clients is the same, but even that's different because my clients are different. But like,
I totally see that too.
It feels like a different job than before because of how differently I structured it. But I think at the end of the day, like for as far as like a day in the life of a real estate agent goes, it really just comes down to knowing that your number one job is not to sell houses. It is like you're running a business here. So yes, our clients are of utmost importance, taking great care of them and everything that is involved with the transaction. But I feel like a lot of people getting into the business, they don't realize the behind the scenes. You're not getting into a job, you're starting a business and your number one job is to get clients and have a pipeline and leads or you're not going to have a business to run. So
that's a really good point though, because I feel like right now we're in a real estate industry, especially to where people just see dollar signs and money's fun, right? Like everybody needs money to survive. They need to buy food. They need to have a mortgage. They need to make a car payment. We live in America. We live off of debt that requires money to pay off the debt. Right. So, but what you were just saying though, is how, man, what you were saying, though, correct me if I'm wrong, please, once again, is that if you weren't doing all of this stuff, there could have been somebody else doing it. Mm-hmm. And so...
Yeah, it's very, very...
You chose, though, to go after what type of clients originally?
For sale by owners.
For sale by owners, but were these residentials?
Oh.
What type of like housing?
Well, I mean, I started out doing everything. My first listing was a regular like stick-built home, split entry. I know exactly where it's at. I drive by it sometimes. But
isn't it fun, like driving by a house and you're like, I sold that?
It happens a lot now. Driving through neighborhoods in Salem, I'm like, oh, sold that one before. Or like, I've been in that house. I showed it. I'm thinking like, I just see like a dollar sign. Like, I wonder what it would sell for now. Like, it's crazy how much that's changed. But anyway.
Maybe you should go talk to the client.
I forgot what you even asked me.
We were talking about like the type of real estate you sold when you originally got into
But
the
also,
business.
okay, so I started out selling, I was prospecting to everyone. I was trying to list all for sale by owners, but what really ended up sticking for me was actually mobile homes. So I sold a ton of manufactured homes my first couple years in the business. While I was selling them, I would still go out and get stick-built homes, if you will. But I think it was just because I was so young and it was very, very hard to get people to trust me. And so it was a lot easier for me to convert a home that wasn't priced as high. And there's less competition because how many realtors are going to be fighting over, I mean, some of these homes I listed, like, I can't even, I think I listed like a $5,000 home before. I'm not joking.
No,
I'm not joking.
No, but
I'm not kidding.
What
like
people
a
don't
single
understand,
wide,
like in our office though.
I'm so glad I did.
Though, exactly. It didn't only gain you experience and knowledge within a real estate contract. Because I mean, manufactured home, residential, they're somewhat similar.
Yeah.
If you read the actual contracts, us realtors, we somewhat know.
Yeah.
But there's different things. Like a manufactured home could be harder, honestly, than a residential sale.
In some ways, I learned so much from that. And I mean, I'm so thankful that I did. And I don't know how else, if I didn't, I don't know how else I would have gotten my foot in the door. Being so young, I was very like, I will take whoever wants to work with me, I will take them.
You'd be a fool not to.
And but a lot of agents I got really made fun of in the office, or like would just say like, really, like you're going to list that? Like I got a lot of crap.
Well,
but
a lot of agents in our office, they just simply like don't do manufactured homes no matter what. If someone called them on it, they just refer it out or tell you about it. And what I always had to say is like $5,000 is a flat fee.
Right.
You make $2,000 on that deal. Do a $2,000 flat fee.
Or depending on the price.
Depending on the price, you got to outweigh a commission versus flat fee. That's your numbers. But that's impressive. That's the fun part, though, where you're at now and where you were. Yeah,
like last year, I sold $1 million home, and that for some markets that's like normal, but for here, that's not the average price point.
Right. Yeah, the average price point here in Salem is $460.
Yeah, somewhere like that. But we've been able to really, really strategically raise our average price point over the years, which is another reason why we don't work as much as we did before. Yeah. But I do still love, I love working with manufactured home clients. I love everyone. I love all my clients.
Right?
Yeah. Seriously. So I feel like I've been taking over this whole.
No, this is good though, because the audience actually needs to know more of your background, where you came from, because you got into the real estate industry a little bit before I did.
Yeah.
And you've shown me so much and actually encouraged me to do what we're doing now. And it gets to the point to where you originally said, what was your ultimate goal? And to me, I told you to correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm going to run with this one. You wanted to create passive income, and real estate is just one of those things to where you ultimately can over time. Yeah. And that's what everybody told you when you started the business is, in like 15, 20 years, if you stick with it, you're going to just have so many referrals because like you said, you drive down through Salem, and there's a house. Oh, I sold that house. I know the owner of that house. Yeah. And that's really exciting because you have the relationship now to get the referral back.
Right. But I know a lot of agents who have been in the business for, like 20, 30 years or more, and they have not structured their business in that way. I don't know if that's just not a goal of theirs or what, but they're still working like way more than anyone should ever work. And it's crazy, but I don't know if that's intentional or if but I just know for me, that's not the goal. Right. That's not the goal. But anyway, let's talk
what is the modern day life of a realtor? That was you then. Yeah. What is like, it look like now?
Oh man. Well, it's hard because every day, that's the question I asked when I interviewed my first real estate brokerage, is like, what's an average day like? And their broker's response was, they're really like, every day is different. Like, I can't even answer that because literally every day is different. And I know that's so cliche, but
somewhat true, somewhat not.
Well, okay, there's things that always need to be done in transactions. And what's your like average?
Well, I used to wake up a little bit earlier. Because Mariah and I, we've been going through this transition. We just bought the house. Yeah. Well, we bought the house, but we just finally moved into this house.
Yeah,
and so like that family aspect, just getting together, wanting to see each other all more, growing the family in this house and creating it as your home.
Yeah.
That's like really made me want to stay more inside of our house. Partly that's why we're here now doing this show, Real Estate with Mariah, in our own personal home. And
said Real Estate with Mariah.
Mariah and Spence. But that's partly why, because we've really grown and developed this house into our home, and we're kind of bringing you guys as our audience into our lives. So that makes it pretty exciting. If you're listening and following us weekly and monthly, that's the fun part. But so my routine is pretty, I would say, not all there like it used to be. I'm still trying to work on the routine. Reinventing the routine.
And that's okay.
Yeah, exactly. And there's nothing wrong with that unless there's just no business volume coming out of that.
Right.
Luckily, we've been meeting our goals, reaching our goals. I always want 4 escrows a month, or 4 escrows, 4 escrows at a time, I guess, no matter what.
For you.
Yeah. So I never have less than 4 escrows. That is what I call my cash flow. That's my pipeline, because us as realtors, we don't get paid unless the transaction closes. So that's a real thing we have to consider in joining this business. I just had a buddy made a really good post on Facebook. But guess what? He's been working part-time real estate for the last year and a half,
Really?
and he just finally quit his job, and now he's a full-time real estate agent. There's some agents that go half foot in, halfway out, and that wasn't you and I. We just never wanted to do that, because honestly, I just thought that was like a dissatisfaction for my client. Because if I'm not like giving them my full attention, I'm only giving them 3 hours of my day, because that's all I have. If I'm employed or can't be on my phone the other, 8, then I'm really doing you a disservice. So that's why we went gung-ho.
When Spencer joined me, I'd been into the business for a few years, and he decided to he just quit his job one day and jumped in and was like full-time. And so, but the beauty of that, doing it that way, instead of like slowly like phasing out your current job or working part-time, is that it really forces you to make it work, because you don't have something to fall back on. And if this is what you're supposed to do and you want to do, then I feel like that's the best way to do it, is just like force yourself to
go for it,
make it happen. Yeah.
But back to my like average day in the life of a realtor, I would say, hey, you need to create a routine to start, whether it's gym in the morning, pray in the morning, breakfast with your family at a certain time. I don't know what it is, but it all starts with that. I do everything in the mornings, though, specifically when it comes to like office managerial things, because in the afternoons, sometimes obviously I have to be in the field, or I have to be home, with Astrid, our daughter, while you're in the field working, doing appointments with clients and stuff like that.
Right.
So like that family aspect comes into where you have to really like juggle what works best for you. And I could really see why like not every day does look the same when it comes to real estate. The big goal and priority I always have, and this is number one, 100% priority, is if I'm getting a text, if I'm getting email or a call, they are all getting responded to, that's business related, all getting responded to that same day. Okay. So if you guys were to call me or text me, I'm responding to you that day. Doesn't matter if I just got out of an appointment at 8 p.m. on my way home, I got my headset on and I'm calling you back, or I'm texting you back on a voice text, just so you hear from me. That is my absolutes. It's really important for that communication aspect in any type of real estate transaction, to be able to communicate with anybody, your clients especially, but anybody. Because we are a local resource. People need us when they have real estate questions, real estate needs.
I think that's awesome. Yeah, I feel like that's the number one complaint when you hear about people like complaining about who they used previously as their agent is usually like lack of communication and maybe they just didn't clash and they communicated differently or I don't know, but dipping and not communicating enough, it's a big deal.
Yeah, I'd say if you're you can't really over communicate in a business like this one.
Yeah. So okay, so there's, prospecting is something that's important, but it's not
let's talk about prospecting
for us. It's not for talking about like a day in the life of a real estate agent. For us, at one point, it was like, this is our daily like prospecting, but it's not really like that anymore.
I call it weekly prospecting.
Yeah, I have, and my prospecting obviously is way different than it was before, and I just have like one day a week where I sit down and do that, and it doesn't take me all that long, and I just like batch do it and then I outsource the rest. And so that's one thing that we have to do as an agent, but it's not something that we have to do every day anymore.
Right.
But I just know when I plan my week, that like Sunday or whenever, I just know like what day I'm going to be doing that on, and I don't know. Yeah.
No, and I think that's a really good thing though for the audience and somebody listening that might want to become a realtor or even is a realtor right now. Think about is like planning your week out.
Yeah,
like
it's super important.
What's working for you right now? Like Mariah said, mailing and stuff. That's not really a thing of her business.
It works really well then, but not anymore.
But maybe for you though, it is. So like, don't not mail clients or prospects that you've been prospecting to because you just heard us say we don't do that anymore. People's lives and motives change. Seriously.
Definitely. And the funny thing is, back then, I would have never thought that I wouldn't be doing that. Like, I always thought for sale by owners were my thing. I love working them. Like, I'm good at it. Like, I always thought like that's how my business would go forever. But I'm so thankful that, things changed and you just never know.
Yeah. So I'd say like create those weekly goals for sure. I wouldn't be in real estate if I didn't like think about real estate, obviously, and have those weekly goals. Whether that's reading a book, Mariah's really into that. She likes reading books and always saying, yeah, you should read a book about this and educate yourself. That's not necessarily been one of mine, but it is something I really want to do.
Start reading
much more.
Send Spencer your book suggestions, everyone.
I need a book suggestion. Do it because it's important, seriously. But your goals within real estate, whether that's, hey, you'll make 5 points of contact a day. I used to do that, like go into the office or just throughout my day, I need to reach out to like 5 different people. That used to be a thing because think about it, 5 times 7, it's 35 people a week you're reaching out to. Out of those 35, maybe 2 of them want to do a real estate deal or has a real estate question. Keep following up with them because over time, you'll understand prospecting. You need to talk to these individuals more than one time, right? You'll just get left in the dust. So you just keep checking on them, call, text, email. I've been really into voice messaging.
Yes.
Or
not voice messaging.
Video messaging.
Yeah.
So that's been like one of those like game changers for me as of late when it comes to like my daily real estate life is usually on a Monday or a Thursday. I'll do them on those 2 days because generally that's when I'll be in the office in the morning and I'm doing it in the morning. So like that's my weekly plan. This is my absolute, just like communicating with our clients.
Right.
And I'm just going after for sale by owners or individuals that haven't already hired a real estate agent, whether it's been 50 days, whether it's been 1 day. I've signed up for like notifications to come straight to my email and I'll just copy paste the address and phone number to reach out to. And sometimes I'll do it right away. Sometimes I'll just do it on that Monday or Thursday and send them a little quick, like introductory real estate video.
Nice.
And I'm not like prospecting to say like, hey, choose me as your agent. I'm going to sell your house for you. I'm just literally probably saying this. Hey, my name is Spencer. I work with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Real Estate Professionals. I do have a team here in the Mid-Willamette Valley, and we are top producing agents. I wanted to just introduce myself and let you know that I'm here as a local resource if you have any questions for me. And I just set the video down and send it to them over text.
I love that you're doing that. I feel like
15,
that's so much
20,
more powerful
30
than
seconds.
Like a text or a call.
Way better.
Yeah.
Because like what I'm really understanding is the people feel a little bit more obligated to respond to that.
Yeah.
And it is true. I'm sure you guys have heard that online too. And video, there is a little bit more clickbait with it. It's like having a good subject line when you send out an email,
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Okay. So besides that's one part of the job, and a very big part of the job that gets overlooked is, prospecting, marketing, actually getting the business, that type of thing. So that is one area. Besides that, what your job is and what you're going to be doing is going to look different. Quite different if you're working with buyers or sellers. Most agents work with both. We work with both.
Yeah. But I would certainly call us like listing specialists for the most part. Like myself, just known here.
Yeah. I started my business, listing was it. Like I hardly worked with buyers. And now that's shifted, which another thing I never thought would happen. Cause I hated working with buyers and now I love it, but also the way I do it is so different. But anyway, so yeah, what you do is going to look different, but certain things that could come up in your week or your month or your day as a real estate agent, you're going to be scheduling home inspections. If you're working with the buyer, you schedule it. You show up at the inspection and let the inspector in. You negotiate repairs for your clients and write up addendums for them. You're going to be...
Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah,
let me touch just one thing about like a home inspection.
Okay.
Because this has helped out our clients tremendously. I know you were kind of in a weird spot back in the day. Kind of when I first came on board, you were like, I don't know who to use home inspector wise. She was just throwing them all out there.
Yeah.
I would create an address book. What is a good inspector that's worked for you in the past, that's done a good report your clients have been happy with? Because that's what's important. You're not getting a referral fee or anything relying on this inspector for your client to use. It's just that trust and honesty factor that's going to help with the real estate transaction you just put together for your client to get closed. So create a address book of trial and error. Don't call back the guy you didn't like, like if he just ruined the deal or just his report didn't look right. Like it's okay to not use them again. We have found our one inspector generally we use on everything. And the reason we're able to use them though is because it's from you guys, our clients out of state that don't live here locally, and they are relying on the real estate professional to get them through that sales process. And that did come through trial and error though, because I was in the business for a few years, just using whoever for random, trying all kinds of people of inspectors for pretty much every type of vendor, until I really found that one that really impressed me. And I was like, wow, you do a great job. Clients always love you. And then I stuck with the right one. So if it takes a while to find that lender, inspector, title company, whatever that is for you, I think it's really awesome having people that you use consistently though and work well with, which we do now have, thankfully. And being in the agents industry, it's not wrong to ask a lending officer or a title agent or the inspector out to lunch, out to dinner, and meet up and just ask them questions and have that kind of social hour with them and get to know them. So you are familiar with who they are and what type of work they do specifically. And they'll only honor you more for it. And odds are you could get a free meal out of it.
Totally. Okay. So as far as just wrapping up our topic before we get into the viewer questions of day in the life of a real estate agent, other things you're going to be I was supposed to go yesterday to, I had listing photos scheduled for a new listing of mine. So I was going to meet the photographer there. You as a listing agent pay for that, arrange it and everything. That's all on you. And then it, ended up having to reschedule. But that's one thing that is part of, your day is scheduling listing photos, going on listing appointments, meeting with clients. For me, a lot of buyer Zoom consultations with new relocation buyers, walking them through the process. So there's a lot of things that goes on behind the scenes, and not to mention all the contracts, negotiating, everything else that goes involved, communicating with the middlemen.
And a pro tip though would be, put everything in your calendar. I talk to Siri all the time on my phone, and I just tell her to put in whatever day, time, meet with so-and-so, this address, and bam, it's in my calendar, and I invite Mariah on everything. So it's shared. She shares everything with me, and it keeps you organized and structured so you're not double booking, because a big part of our job literally is just the communication aspect of getting a transaction from sale to close. And there's multiple people involved with that. And you have to kind of be that middleman. You know, you got to shuffle the board.
Right. There's a lot of people that you're going to be communicating with throughout the transaction. That's for sure. Yeah. So do you feel like we have anything else that you want to throw in there about your, like what you do in a day or part of the job? Or should we move on to these?
I think we're good to move on.
Viewer questions.
I don't think there's much else.
Okay.
And obviously throughout more shows, we're going to be talking about these, what it looks like to be a real estate agent. That's like kind of part of talking all things real estate, because all of these things are things we're doing. Yeah.
Just sharing like our life and what we're up to, which is like real estate.
Today is a really laid back, just kind of like, hey, introductory. This is our first home video podcast. So we're really excited, super excited. And once again, we're going to be doing them every week to you, having them out on Wednesdays. Yes.
So again, send us your topic suggestions and questions, and we will maybe get to them in a future video. Okay. So first question. Hello, I just wanted to say hi. I watched your video on investing in real estate at 18 that you made 2 years ago. I watched it and wanted to say it helped out a lot. But like you were at the time, I'm 18 and still totally clueless on how to even get started. I was wondering if there was any specific resources you used when you were in that same boat to gain clarity. I keep watching guys like Grant Cardone's talking about the power of passive income. Wait, I'm sorry, I just butchered that. Talking about the power of income producing real estate, and I'm a bit confused and was just hoping to receive advice. So that was like a mouthful.
No, that's a really good question though, because here's the reality.
Buying a house at 18.
I know, but here's the reality.
Yes, what's the reality?
We're looking at these videos on YouTube.
Yes.
And you're getting these people, coaches, that are looking to be paid for, you know, it's part of their job, it's marketing. And you realize how sometimes unrealistic it is of what they're telling you to do.
Okay. Yeah. Yes.
It doesn't seem like you like that answer.
No. I get what you're saying. Because I think what you mean
that's
more
my
is
problem though. They make it like all glamorous.
I get what you're saying. I think what also like that's like kind of what he's asking is like, where do you even start? Like, yeah, this looks awesome. Like getting into starting purchasing real estate and maybe purchasing something that's income producing, but like, how do you even begin? I'm 18. Yeah. So, okay. What I would say is it might not be as hard as you think. I know I've talked to 18-year-olds before who laugh at the thought of being able to purchase a house and at their age. And I just think that it might not be as hard or as complicated as you might be expecting. Let's just take a moment to appreciate the fact that there are loans where you do not have to put any money down. Yeah. And yes, I know the market's crazy right now. It's a little difficult to get an offer accepted with those loans because people want, conventional loans, but it is possible, especially if you're thinking like, how far away from a major city can I go? Because then you're going to be looking at like a little bit lower price points. But so keep that in mind.
There's something your real estate professional is going to help you out with.
Yes.
If you tell them your scenario and what you specifically need help for.
Yes. There's loans where you don't have to put anything down. And there's also loans where you do not have to put very much down. So there's like lower whatever. Okay. So that is one thing to keep in mind. Secondly, you need to have a job and have had the same job for a couple of years. So that could be, if you're 18, I don't know if you were working when you were younger, but I don't know how that would all look. But that's one requirement besides that. And besides then, I would say try to look for a home that you can realistically purchase and then get your friends to move into the bedrooms and pay you rent, because that's the easiest way to get into that is a income producing property at that point, because you're gaining equity, you're sheltering income, you're investing in yourself and your future by living and owning in that house, building equity, paying it down. And there's people paying you rent. So you don't even have to go and have a loan where you put, a lot more down because it's a rental loan. Like,
you're running
a
cash flow business.
Yes. So that might not sound like income producing property because you're just living with your friends. They're renting out your bedrooms. But I feel like that's something that is a lot more feasible than, we did that when we were married.
Oh, absolutely.
We got married at 19 and 20 and had a house we owned and we rented the bedrooms.
I seriously loved it.
We both rented out at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah. We did Airbnb and then we had roommates and it was...
We even Airbnb'd our whole house.
Yeah, we did, and we left.
We left our house for like a week, a weekend.
We would just like have it rented out like periodically and for like a couple weeks at a time, and we just like leave and then come back. kind of weird, but we
It
did
was kind of nice. It was like going on vacation
Right.
while getting paid.
But that's where I would begin is keep it simple. Just buy a regular residential house, or it could be a condo, a townhouse. If you want to pay less, a manufactured home in a park. There's so many options that has more than one bedroom, and rent the other bedroom out. However you choose to do so. Airbnb, your friend, your brother,
do your due diligence, though. Make sure you're abiding by your HOAs and park rules and stuff like that.
Of course. And then from there, you can, be able to start saving for the next one. But that would be what my suggestion is. Don't overcomplicate it. That's a very simple thing, and anyone can do that.
Yeah. The biggie would be for me is don't feel like you have to put like $20,000, $40,000 down. There's reasons why these loan programs exist.
Yeah.
And as long as you can afford that mortgage, if you do due diligence and say, hey, worst comes to worst, I rent out these 2 spare rooms that I don't use anyways, convert a garage into a room, maybe put a shed in the backyard, whatever you might feel is necessary, you got a good purchase on your hands. And that's only going to create you wealth and equity over time, 10, 20, 30 years when it's paid off.
Yeah.
You can have a lot of good equity.
Yeah. Okay. Next question is, what time will my loan fund and I be officially closed?
Let's ask the real estate agent that one. That's not a
Me?
Well, it's not even on you.
You mean escrow agent?
Yeah,
You
exactly.
meant escrow agent. Yeah,
it's not a question for the real estate agent.
But they don't really sorry to cut you off. No one really has a way to know for sure. Like the time, we could say we're looking to close tomorrow, but we do not know. Like I've had clients ask me that before, but we really don't have any way of knowing the exact time we're going to be closed and funded. It just is when it is, and you'll be notified.
A wire comes in from the lending institution directly to escrow. The escrow agent, once she's done with that file, then it's on her. And then it's her job to let you know, and that'll be the time it closes. It's not like it's an on and off switch. Paperwork sent off. It's like sending things in the mail. You send it off, you say it's closed, and then you inform somebody you mailed it off.
Yeah. Next question. What are we seeing right now in the real estate market in our area? I feel like we've talked about this recently.
But I feel like there has been somewhat of a little shift.
Okay,
honestly.
Talk about it.
Well, within the last, I'd say 3 weeks even. I mean, interest rates, they're back up to 5.5%. And I think it hasn't necessarily been like a bad thing, but it's got people kind of on their toes. They don't know what they actually want anymore.
Yeah.
Because they see what type of market it is. They see wars going on. They see inflation. They see interest rates. They can barely afford their groceries. They got a somewhat stable job, so they're not too worried about that. So when you get stuck in comfortability, people are just so comfortable, they're like, man, there's a lot of risk buying $400,000 or $500,000 in debt,
Yeah.
So
that's
where
what everything is right now here. It's that or
and that's where it's I keep thinking about the first time home buyer. I think they're not just gonna go away. Everybody will always want to buy a home. And everybody has to buy a home sometime, right?
Yeah.
But we're in a very, very strange time to where I'm looking at the generation a little above us, those 30-year-olds to 33-year-olds.
Yeah. And
unfortunately, I just don't have much of their contacts, because I'm a little younger than them, but that's up to these videos. That's up to our prospecting to reach out to them, because I think that's going to be the new wave of buyers, because
it's not first-time buyers.
Not first-time buyers. Yeah. I feel like they're looking for not necessarily even an upgraded home, but maybe a change of pace, a different direction, because the human's logic, we always want more. We always want something different. We get bored. Yeah. You get really bored.
I get really bored living in the same house for
exactly.
I move in and I'm like, I want to live here forever. And then a year and a half, I'm like, okay, time for something new.
So that's kind of what I've been prepping for. Over the last 2.5 years, I've done a lot. I shouldn't even say it a lot. I've done a ton of prospecting when it comes to 55 and ups.
Oh.
That market is still there. I'm working with one that's transitioning into the retirement home at the end of June. It's a brand new retirement home facility. It's absolutely beautiful.
Right.
But they're everywhere. I mean, our neighborhood we live in right now, I don't want to get on 55 and overs, but the demographic is 55 plus. I mean, it's 70%, 80%, 55 plus.
Totally.
So when it comes to first time home buying, though, I don't think you're going to necessarily have those in this type of market. You're going to have like the 33-year-olds that's reselling with some equity down to keep that mortgage consistent to where it currently is.
Yeah, I also feel like right now in this market, in order to not have a super high payment, you probably not have to, but it's in your best interest to have a house to sell with equity. But my advice right now to first time buyers, is I would say buy the condo, buy the townhouse. Yeah. Like you don't have to wait until you can afford a residential 2,000 square foot or however much, whatever home to buy. Just buy something. Like I know the prices of condos and townhomes have gone up, but if they're like a little bit less and it's more affordable, I just don't see the point in waiting because you're wasting time paying rent. Rent's going up. You could be gaining equity. I know our second house that we owned was a townhouse, and
if we didn't buy that,
made so much money from just living there for 2 years, and we would be paying to live somewhere else anyway. And I'm so glad that we didn't we would have bought, but I don't know. That's just what I'm saying. Cause I see a lot of buyers not wanting to buy because they can't afford, but maybe if you just looked at something a little less and bought a condo or something, maybe it's not your ideal, but it's an investment.
And that's what you got to think of.
I don't get it.
It is an investment and it is a roof over your head.
Yeah.
And as long as it's convenient enough for you to continue your daily life, then what matters? What doesn't matter? Because if you're renting, your rent is for sure going up. In Portland, it's doubled.
And as the cost of everything is going up, property taxes have gone up so much because of all of everyone's equity going up so much. Obviously, landlords have to pay for things like rent is going to keep going. But anyway, okay. So
there will become a time. There will become a time in the real estate market to where it's inevitable. What comes up must come down. Okay. And I'm a firm believer in that. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think prices can keep going up forever. And you can agree with me on that. Keep going up forever. Think about only goes up. There's no down. We can
just agree to disagree.
Wow.
I don't think they're going to keep going up forever, but I do not think there's going to be a big plummet where we see homes
No,
super,
you're
super
thinking
low.
of a plummet. I'm saying just keeps
crash.
going up.
I think more of a leveling out.
Yes.
Well, I don't know. Whatever. I don't know. Okay, so we just have 3 more questions. We'll get through them pretty quick because this video is getting very lengthy. If you're still watching this, by the way, be sure to hit the thumbs up, share with your friends and your mom and your grandma, and
have that conversation with them, though.
Subscribe.
Seriously, I was initially though talking about being in a day of life of a realtor, having the conversation with family, friends, and people about real estate. It sometimes is like talking about politics or religion. There's always a scheme out there. And you just don't want to be that schemer guy, just only talking about real estate for your benefit.
Right. If you're an agent.
It's an educational tool.
I feel like even for the general public, it's beneficial to be informed on not just the real estate market, but just real estate in general and what's going on and how things work and everything we talk about in these videos, even if you're not in the industry, because real estate affects everyone, whether you like it or not.
It does.
And hopefully you have a goal buying or selling someday. But anyway, okay. So, question from a buyer who is purchasing a home in another state. They ask, do I need to be in town for closing or can I DocuSign? No, you cannot DocuSign it, but you do not need to be in town. Many of our clients are moving here from all over and they do not even come here until after they've closed. And so, we can definitely arrange that with the title company.
Yeah, my last 3 closings with out-of-state clients, they have not been in person and they've actually been sent a notary from the title company directly to the address they live at. So we definitely make that process as easy as possible, but with some communication, letting us know where you're at, what you're planning to do. That's all that matters. And we'll have that all organized for you at our title agency.
Yes. Okay. This is a juicy question. Is it just the cheaper houses going way over ask, or are higher price points seeing this too? And by cheaper, they were referring to $350 to $450 price point.
I see it kind of everywhere. Honestly, a $600,000, $800,000 house, they're all pretty similar in competitiveness. I don't think you'll have as many offers the higher the prices get, but you'll certainly have the same drive of like, hey, this is going to close in X amount of days. And I look at that as a real tool. What's going to close at a higher amount of day? Because we used to see 90. Now we're still like, it gets an accepted offer within 14, kind of no matter what.
Okay, the last question was, why are real estate commissions 6%?
Talk about it.
I think you should talk about this one, Mr.
Money,
listing agent.
Yeah,
man.
so I have a heart, right? So I always have to understand the situations we're in, but people have to understand us as well. Like if they don't see my worth or value and they're asking the world out of you, obviously, you have to make that decision on your own. I don't know what brokerage you work at. We work at Berkshire Hathaway. We're a luxury brand. We're a very well-known brand. We're owned by Warren Buffett. There's a lot of pros to getting your home listed or even working with a Berkshire Hathaway agent, whether it's buying or selling. And a commission split is always something negotiated with every seller. So it's not something that's not talked about every day. So it's not weird for me. But I also have to understand the situation, my worth, and what market we're in. And that'll be a topic of discussion during our listing appointment. And we'll just have to feed off each other and communicate wisely.
Yeah. Okay. I just have something to add about that real quick. So first of all, generally you get what you pay for in life. And I know for personal experience, we've worked with in a home purchase. One of our home purchases of ours was with a discount. I was the buyer's agent and the listing agent was a discount broker, and we ended up getting getting it for probably less than what it should have sold for. And I could go into that. That's a whole nother situation. Everything else, the communication. And this isn't just this one agent. Every single time I've worked with a discount broker, it's just never been up to par.
Seriously, every time.
There's a reason. Like I said, you get what you pay for. Also, I know we're short on time, but for like commissions, as far as commissions go, a lot of people don't necessarily understand. It's not like, okay, so say you list a home for 6% is the commission that you're giving, like say you're a home seller, that's the commission you're giving the listing agent. That is split between the listing agent, the buyer's agent, as well as the brokerages. And then it includes all the advertising. Like there's a lot more that goes into it. It's not just like someone gets 6%. But anyway, yeah. So
I break it down very clearly in plain English. There's no hidden contracts. There's no hidden fees like other brokerages. You'll see a lot of hidden fees when it comes to those like 1% agents.
It's not 1%.
Yeah.
It's not 1%.
How do you think the person buying your house gets paid? Like the buyer's agent. There's no way. Yeah. I'm working for 1%. I can't feed anything or even pay my bills at 1%. So
yeah.
All right, guys. Hey, that's what we got for you today, though. With Real Estate Mariah and Spenc, we really appreciate you guys coming in and joining us in our home and really just following us throughout this journey. So once again, though, if you haven't hit that like button or subscribed, we are coming out with new videos weekly, and it will be somewhat of the similar podcast form, and you get new material weekly.
And let us know your thoughts on the new situation, setup, what you think, feedback, constructive criticism. We get all of it, and we enjoy any feedback you have. So, all right,
guys.
See you next week.
Peace.